Bienvenidos a esta rueda de prensa con el señor Bach, presidente del Comité Olímpico Internacional, y Jojo Ferris, directora de la Fundación Olímpica para los Refugiados, en representación de la Fundación Olímpica para los Refugiados y del Equipo Olímpico de Refugiados, Premio Princesa de Asturias de los Deportes. Antes de dar paso al turno de preguntas, me gustaría preguntarle al señor Bach qué ha supuesto para la Fundación y para el equipo olímpico de refugiados la concesión de este galardón.
Buenas tardes y muchas gracias por su recepción si amable aquí en Asturias. When we learned the news about the Asturias prize, we were surprised, very happy, very honored and very humbled because the prize has such a high prestige in the Spanish-speaking world and beyond. So that we even had a little party then in my office when we learned about the news and and are full of anticipation for the ceremony here.
Muchas gracias. Señor Bach, vamos a dar paso al turno de preguntas. Como siempre, si desean formular una cuestión, deben levantar la mano, se les pasará el micrófono e indiquen, por favor, su nombre y al medio al que representan. Indiquen en este caso también si la pregunta va formulada al señor Bach o a la señora Ferris. Muchas gracias. Primera pregunta.
Sí, buenas tardes para el presidente Bach. Carmen Menéndez, de la agencia EFE. En la actualidad, debido a la invasión de Ucrania por parte de Rusia, los deportistas de este país están excluidos de las pruebas de clasificación para los Juegos Olímpicos de París. ¿Podrán participar finalmente en ellos? Y quería preguntarle también, una segunda cuestión, es si se contempla que en París 2024 el equipo olímpico de refugiados pudiera incluir a deportistas ucranianos o rusos refugiados en otros países en vistas de la situación. Muchas gracias.
First of all, it is important to make the difference. The athletes from Russia and Belarus cannot participate at this moment in international competitions because the IOC was taking protective measures. And we had to take these protective measures because, in contrary to the reaction of governments to other wars, which unfortunately we have in this world too many, that in this case governments started to decide who can take part in which international competition and who cannot take part. This is a situation which is unique, and this reaction to a war is unique. We have not seen this reaction with the wars in between Armenia and Azerbaijan, or with the war in Yemen, or with the war in Afghanistan, or the war in Syria, or the too many other wars. And because of this reaction of the governments, we had to take this protective measure in order to ensure the integrity of the international competitions, because they have to be fair. And that means that the sports authorities have to be able to decide who is qualified to take part in a competition. And this approach by the government puts us in an unsolvable dilemma because our mission as a sports organization, in particular as the International Olympic Committee, our mission is to get all the athletes from the world together, even if their countries are in confrontation or are at war, and maybe even more so, to show that the Olympic Games and sports competitions are peaceful competitions where everybody accepts the same rules. But because of these interventions of the governments, we are at this moment not in a position to live up to this mission. And therefore we have to continue our efforts when we will be able again to unite the world through sport and in a peaceful competition. To be very clear, this is different from the sanctions we were taking. The sanctions against those who are responsible for this war. And these sanctions were that we said, no international competitions in Russia, that we said no Russian identification whatsoever, no anthem, no flag, no Russian colors at any sports event. And this is why, in a first time ever decision, we withdrew the Olympic order from the President Putin and from the Vice Prime Minister Chernyshchenko. These are the sanctions against the responsibles from a war. But athletes should never be punished for actions of their government if they are not actively supporting it or being part of it. And this is the dilemma we are facing. So the sanctions must firmly stay in place, in particular after the recent events. The annexation of parts of Ukraine. And with regard to the protective measures, we have to continue monitor the situation and make all efforts to be able to then protect these athletes and protect the integrity of our international competition.
Muchas gracias. Siguiente pregunta, por favor.
Hola, Noé Menéndez de la Nueva España para el señor Bach. Ahora mismo en España está habiendo bastante polémica por una deportista que está haciendo su paso de mujer a hombre y está compitiendo con chicas todavía y muestra demasiada superioridad. Desde el COI, por ejemplo, para los Juegos de París, ¿qué tenéis planteado hacer en este tipo de situaciones? Muchas gracias.
I cannot comment on this particular situation because I do not know the details in this very complex issue. But the approach by the IOC in general is very clear. It is everybody without any kind of discrimination must have access to sport. In sport, everybody is welcome. When it comes to competitions, then sports organizations have to ensure a fair competition. And that this means there have to be rules which are ensuring this fairness. And these rules, they can differ from sport to sport, even from discipline to discipline. You have competitions where male and female athletes are already competing against each other in sailing, in equestrian sports. So there is no need for any regulation in this respect in these disciplines or sports. And then you have a difference between sports. Let's say that there can be a clear difference between figure skating or a ski jump and weightlifting. And we see the difference in athletics between sprint or middle distance and hammer throw. And there we are giving the international federations the clear advice that before putting regulations in place for these kind of competitions, that they consult with everybody, that they consult with female athletes, that they consult with transgender athletes, that they consult with human rights experts, that they consult with sports experts, that they consult with medical experts, that they consult with ethical experts, as we have been doing before issuing our recommendation. And that then, based on this scientific results, that then they devise their regulations for their sport and for their discipline to ensure a fair competition for everybody.
Siguiente pregunta, por favor.
Mi pregunta es para Ferris. Siempre que hay un conflicto, bueno, hablando de refugiados, siempre que hay un conflicto de grandes magnitudes, los mandatarios de los países siempre dicen que van a acoger a X número de personas para ayudarles, todo eso, pero luego las cuotas siempre se incumplen, siempre son mucho más pequeñas. Ahora que tenéis la oportunidad, en realidad la pregunta es para ellos, para los refugiados, ¿qué les dirían ahora que tienen la oportunidad a esos mandatarios que las incumplen?
Thank you for the question. I think there's, as you say, there's conflicts every day. I mean, in the last 20 months, there's 37 crises that the UN Refugee Agency has responded to. I think here, what we're trying to do through sport is to say everybody, and President Bach just said it, everybody belongs in sport. We can't offer resettlement. We can't commit to what the future holds for individuals, but what we can say is here's every opportunity to access sport and be part of the Olympic community, and this is a place you belong. In the case of the Refugee Olympic team, we have had very good outcomes there whereby some of the athletes have been resettled in third countries, but the reality, as you say, is globally a very small fraction of people are resettled, and with 100 million people who've been forced to flee their home, nobody chooses that. From that, maybe 1%, if we're lucky, are resettled. Thank you.